Carolann told me to keep this short, or shorter. So I will focus a lot on numbers because for years, CA, as we call her, looked after the local finances. And every year her priority was at the bottom that we would have black and not red ink in the financial reports. Carolann was hired when the first Trudeau was Prime Minister. Now I wrote this several weeks ago and I had this, I had in brackets, and she's outlived 2 Trudeau Prime Ministers. But he came back, and so I couldn't use that. Over 35 years, Carolann has served with dedication, faithfulness, and just plain hard work. In a position that grew and eventually became what's called the Director of Administration. Carolann saw Walton go through 20-year-long student minister internships. And sometimes they were the best of times, and sometimes they weren't. She mentored and guided them through that process. She saw a tripling of staff positions. She saw the congregation moving from one worship on Sunday morning to 2. And through 2 major additions to the church, as well as at least 7 building renovation or repair projects. If you've renovated your house, you know what that is like. Carolann, Linda, and I have served together through those 35 years. And that's a rare achievement. As a congregation, we tend not only to have staff that are long-serving, but leaders who are. And that says a lot about the culture of the congregation. Carolann has helped organize more wedding services, more funerals, and more baptisms than most United Church ministers will ever do in their careers. Carolann oversaw the caretaking and the church maintenance. She made sure the place was plowed after a storm, that the elevator was serviced, that the sprinklers out front were opened and closed. The windows were washed, and repairs to plumbing and electrical were done when we needed people to come in. Carolann built up the rental business, dealing with groups from bridge to nursery school, condo meetings, which we have a lot of, to election polls like last Monday, birthday parties to 12-step groups. Carolann adapted as we moved from the black rotary phone and hand crank Estethnia machine to copiers and cell phones. She dealt with the phone calls, the emails, and the drop-in visitors. Carolann saw the transition of Val coming into the office on top of her youth position, and then Stu joining the office to work with the finances. Carolann started in a little cubby hole. I mean little. It was back in the corner here when the stairs went down instead of out. And it was under the stairs. As the congregation grew, she moved to the B room, which is sort of under here, or was under here, and then to the current office space on the main level. Carolann sold thousands of dollars worth of red pepper jelly that Jerry made. She worked with countless committee chairs over the years to help facilitate programs, fundraisers, and produce many bulletins before we had computers. Carolann is the queen of commas and would make sure everything was edited and put together that annual report. But personally, the biggest hardship she faced in the job was reading my handwriting. She arranged hundreds of friendship and visiting deliveries and cards being sent, plus made appointments for my visits with people in the congregation and with wedding couples. As I think back of the 35 years, my most powerful memories of the incredible challenges that she dealt with when we added the 4-stop elevator back here, the Allen entrance, the new accessible washroom, when we pushed back what was choir rooms to expand the choir. During that winter of 91-92, which was the first Gulf War, and if you remember, Canada was in a recession, Carolann did so much that no one will ever know to get us through that project. I remember her sitting in what is currently the nursery, and her office was literally 4 walls of plastic. You had to lift the plastic and go in, and there was these plastic walls. She had no walls. She didn't have much heat either. And here the office was set up. We got through that on literally a wing and a prayer, because the congregation was much smaller than it is now, and finances were very, very tight. Carolann has helped shape much of Walton, what it is today in one way or another. So today we say thanks to Carolann. The first service, if you were at coffee hour, you will have seen the incredible cake. And we will invite Carolann forward now. This is a gift on behalf of the Walton congregation to Carolann in our appreciation.
Thank you, Jim, for those kind words. I forgot some of that stuff. Maybe it was time for me to retire. And thank you, Linda, for the Elvis Presley preludes. It's hard to believe that the Walton Church office has been my second home for 35 and a half years. That's at least half my lifetime, although I am a bit older than that. So it was a hard decision to make to leave it, but I felt it was time for me to retire. It's been a pleasure working with all the staff, the interns Jim mentioned, and all the volunteers throughout the years. And as Jim mentioned also, that he picked up from my speech at the first service, that Jim and Linda and I have been a team for over 35 years. And we certainly had a great relationship, or it wouldn't have lasted that long. It's probably the longest in any church that has had a team that together that long. I need to thank my family, Jerry, Susan, and Jameson. In the earlier years, when I would bring work home, they would always lend a hand. We didn't always have this techie stuff that we have now in the office, so they were doing manual labor for me. It's been a great experience working in the church office, dealing with so many aspects of church life, and dealing with different problems that would arise, from building problems to life problems of the congregation. I hope I have dealt with both in an efficient and compassionate way. The 35 years has flown by. It went too fast. People who belonged to the church at one time and have moved away, they sometimes still come back to visit. And as they're going past the office, they stop, peek in, and say, "Are you still here?" And that sort of gave it a hint it was time to retire. It was the emphasis on the still here. I've always worked in a church office. 15 years with Scotiabank, and then the church office. So it will be a little different now, to say the least. But I'm looking forward to new things for my afternoons. but my mornings will still be filled with my sports. Hopefully Jerry doesn't ask me to cook. I don't know how. I also hope he realizes I don't have Jim to nag now, so he's going to get a double dose. I will still be in the choir, looking out at all of you, so you haven't seen the end of me yet. I will be able to spend time in Brawny Hall after church services, saying hello. I've had good years here at Walton, and as the favorite man in my life said upon leaving his center stage, thank you very much.